Nana Boache. Dodo na nim se friend Nana B. Oye lawyer ni ma papa. Ube piemo ewo New Patriotic Party or the national organizer ewo hase. Nana me watch na se. Maybe aboko. Unya metna se kwa na Mustafa Edikan abode wo.
Odi ka announce me president kwada.
O why e fa na so.
Oh, and invitation.
Hey, Western me ho. With the speed of it. Nana party ma want to say.
Oh, nyame adaroma. Say wa wonim afini ya ekoto aba. No kwasem ne say afise say de na party fo nyina nso no egugem. Nanya nika metimi aka say MPP ni bia ni hono ma afi twa mu bronya no otimi di ni se ne oso di no
monum ye
na mo ya sebe enso no se ne amanyo sem sitie no ade a na eme ni gie wo mu an se Ghana nhye Ghana nhwengu ye nyina yetimi ko yinwuma so entisi yetimi ato saaba we abaya ya ba beto aba ya na ye pija ewema ye hyehyehye amanyofo ye kasa nyame nchade ne afi se ne ya enya se hye bi hu nti minim party for hawa omukumu ne ya odi omukumu nanso no se woniema ehwegu a me ofasa dwona nyame mfa ne kra ansi bebia o se na ohu ne hyehye na se wo nantin so na du baabi na se wotiase wohwiase ya se wuntwam wo safa ko na na wo hwe wana motu yi nti megidi se as a political party yugusu a ye hyehye ye niema eno kan ho bi ma ye hye ye reorganization ase ye hyehye party ni se ne be ya be sa akọ akono na yakwakwagi tumi sa de aba nti enumuana yewe presidential primaries ya shase nyame ya doma bosumi a edi enimu ye na se ye to awia ne sa nti metimi akase party no de afese ne de no kwasem ni na party for aboto na enso no eniema ekoso sisi e afe ba kwa ye de to me di share DC fonsa no kwasem ni Ghana for dodo a na omususu se enema bi enkoyi under MPP nti ye de to me no e ma NDC for so ni ahwe no omenu omo pa sir I'm telling you omenu omo pa and we speak to some people say yeah enhu aba ne say so wo hwe NDC pa no kwasem ni from 2020 omo results omo nyae no and 2024 no difference no was just below 200,000 omo appreciate hu bi a emo wini here rather no yen your party for no so we share about nyae 6.7 na esote buy over 2 million votes in ye lose ye man koto aba enti safo ni nyina no mu fi se bia ne ma bi nkoso ye enti no ene me nkonkoto kra me ame nkonkoto ma NDC sanse me mpe omo na ene MPP nso de me nsori ense ma da je kra nkonkoto no safo ni nyina no me no mo ho pa o me no mo ho pa
omo in a way we kind of so man koto no mo nu mo na mo ye MPP for na say even mo to ma NDC in fact
mo ko to ma NDC ko mo no he
eniema be na no mo expect here budin sa 1 year even do endru ye
abna wa ya de
mo ne sa
abna wa ya de hwe ye kwa kwato aba ade ba ko na da NDC for no pa no mo ka eto mabu na sum a mo say ene ensenchene a yewura Muhammad baba e de bi nsida 24 hour economy etwa ho nwom abna se adwuma ba ko no ye baba ye no mprensa enti obi sha ase anopa no apon ewiamu kakra na ewia nso obi nso ba be som no no nso no apon anwumre na obi nso aso mu anwumre no na de eromu ahomache aba be si anopa no mo fe no formula 133 ene Ashanti regional chairman NDC chairman also was the pressure one so onwuma ho no eni enyan in fact nka wanye bibi kura ma wasewa abuna nka membo ne kro no NDC for ba ye omapam ye mabunu ane am mu nwuma 30,000 ane apam mo na sen na mfise bia nko magyae Ghana Enterprise Agency omo Saki district directors nyina
district directors omo order na say
omo order
and also omo after 7 December
omo order da
ye mo
da bi omo order da ya pomo mu nyina awo Ghana Enterprise Agency enti wa wo ba wo so ba beboa Ghana fo ma Ghana fo enye adwuma no obeka ya Yero Muhammad na simpie so ka se ye Ghana ni bia so ba beto aba ma me na me ba adwuma a wanya no me ba betwam a enye no kreda me ntwam me ba be create more kra ye the 24-hour economy ba na enwuma no kra do so enti Yero Muhammad ye dan na bosha wo che Ghana fo so wo ba obie no ba hwere na adwuma ne waba na ye maburu 30,000 actually umnyuma all the institutions in fact ebi wo hon krampa krata Yero Julius Debra de buy krampo no onu kwa de o ma date say omu krampa ya mo krata after 7th of January. For me, I thought that it was even illegal. Why? Yema obia to me, yema 4 years. Sabren until 6th January. You be shy obi fufuru ino. President no mandate. So I juma.
But nana wo say say BSc e wo ma bre.
The BSc da nye no kre. Abra nye no kre sa no.
Former president Akufo Addo
BSc. BSc da. In fact, Yero Akufo Addo abre so. Ye bae. Wona in fact me na mo national service. National service no mo friend nipa. Omo friend nipa ne ba na stop pay sa recruitment. Uma no continue stop pay. You stop pay because national service near volunteers e be adwuma 10 years. E be adwuma 5 years. E be adwuma 7 years. Omo twen say ye be bi enwuma mu. Na nkomo so mo do mo ho awura mu bi. Ye hu ya ne say ya amfa sa volunteers na nka recruitment exercise no kra ho. And your coffee for any people free abontin ka say dey be ye be sha ase foforo that recommendation of crampon if we a public services commission and nobody recommendation in my say yen no foforo say na be ya wona o ma ye volunteer adwuma o mo ni sika bia no mo gi national service allowance pe na nso no mo ye fuom o mo hwehwe district offices no ye fuom nwuram obi e ni wo no mo a me ye na di. I'm telling you. Yeah?
Apart from the air national service, that was
even the security services.
None of the institutions.
In fact, we have necessary
after 7th.
None. In fact, even after 7th December 2026, I want you make your appointment. Shraj, boss, you didn't buy NCC boss, you didn't buy Yero Julius Debra science akratano, Sabon chief of staff. Way after 7th December, if you want in fact, unless near form and the NDC abreso. You buy no, a dear a man, Yura, Ajima menu, a stopping recruitment, and he said, no, saying a petition, say, a bimo honoma, na I was here for more than an young for money for we no see okay, any or holding on with the recruitment. No, now all this half winning your account, no, any no, even another financial clearance as I do mean account and the analysis for able to be one more you made omo yenti omo kanya e pese you made dia o musu omo ya adwuma 1 year yenti omo ka esi entua a teacher for musu omo ya adwuma yenti omo ka esi entua we are reset we base wuti sa 24-hour economy one fa hwe ma yo in fact Yero Busitano Krampo no da no ne buy no was this a can come here? There 4 billion Ghana cedis. Now, no, I come home. You chama 24-hour economy. Abna winim 100 million Ghana cedis. Bill conditions said the mouse SB. It's a 24-hour economy. 120. And I'm making. It's nice. It's a bill condition. Grass to change 24-hour economy. Many are bill condition demand very repressive. One lost bill conditions at the moment. And no cross to change. Sika ye try to us and 24-hour economy.
But me kai say majority leader akasa o kai honorable Hassan Ayariga or say yes be a government ABA in order to create enabling environment.
Abna now what happy
private institutions to capitalize on. So they will make me expand your business.
Abna no video bi wa. We are member of Abosisia. Ebra no mo youth manifesto. No pariado te ho. And one minister for youth development. Near our Martin in chain. No more advert. Almost here Hamama Haba. Or the new mayor ba. I'm a mebuna tie bi. The friend of Formula 133.
Can say a new mayor ba. For instance, a private person or running a business, make us be a taxes being in maybe a corner and money to me expanding a business. Maybe a baby about so let me slash down these taxes. Said the says he can't go to your mamma. Fashion would you man?
I'm not no more to abanas. How much can I watch you say?
Me
see, I'm not say. I'm there to abanas. Send Kassan and Kautia Siena. I'm feeling this hand to me. What's it that be? If I do back, I want to say you said you catch a crampo Kassan, Kanya, Kronoma, so. The kind of national communications officer said, after almost the formula B bar, I'm sure if you ask a crown tonight. Almost the formula B bar, while by your Jumana, you know. You better to Kanya Swamau. And they buy 3 times and Omatun Kanya boom. First quarter Omutumu, second quarter Omutumu, and our last quarter Yomasatumbium. I better key effect January. 3 times Nipa also about 24-hour economy. No, Acadia Behama Industries. Enemy, Tenyum Kanya better to so. Nanado Danko Kufuado, the first year in Kanya Yantumuda, in so Yantumuda. In fact, second year, quite a Saturday, so my industries. It is our boss and now Mokan say, yes, so more year for Mukrampono, a phone Kaya than Kanya Eba Corno. I be free. You receive Katia Canina. Yeah, Galam say. Na mini aneti ase ko kasa kwa na mraho na wo kwa na me se wo sere wo yem se na wo na Mustafa o kasa say Galam say omo se akufu ado ni nuanu na etuo enti ene ama also right to say Yewura Mahama woni ni nuanu na etuo on na busuafo na etuo ena Yewura Professor Adai say gold board is a legalization of Galamsey. Gold board for omo to gold ni fi Galamsey for no. If a president na kwampo endorse here, obekaya meet the press. And a moon journalist for Bakubusa presidency. And here enya ne say gold board for omo to gold ye fi Galamsey for. President anu you the man ne say, and as omo to free enya ya gold no moto. Can you imagine? And they travel along the street and so you say any adane aye brown be keke
quoting out of context once I do one say obe jama ho kraba be to the
abna
can say obe jama ho
so that is an endorsement of it ho to enye ayi timamuni so to enye but when you say so ho woni be to a ene ha adwena ya yenkofo tu na say gold board for koto de a ene ye it means you are endorsing what they are doing. It's now it is still saying the same thing I'm making. No, Mustafa or Kasa on to me Kagalan because on no or share on for move to Galams and then see everywhere you go and you end this for the I'm telling you, now what was a Krofom NDC chairman be and the Munia Bako, Kofia Santi, Efren Kumase say, chairman Yatisi as we are gonna say, Bokwan, a did Tim Fia. We deal with TV, live TV. What is a address to chairman being a kukudo bonnie? A bad TV should be did Ghana for them live TV.
What's that? The chairman it obey in a way obey easy to show off gold. They know so.
Oh, that be only legal mining that. Okutani gold that. And you say. No, there is a different matter. Gold. I said Ghana don't gold. Oh, he is into legal mining. He is not into illegal mining. No. I mean, they were not happy. People were saying. Oh, no, you can criticize ABA and say, no, but that is different. I'm not talking about Obi or no ni gold. What to know? Papa so. Now or the aye akandia or the yen. So go the go and say. No, you know, Anadia. Oh, me found about gold and say gold. What do you call the blended with diamond? Gold and Google say Abna. No, Nadia. It's different from NDC for empire. And then one doesn't mean I mean. A catcher says, I was for no more free Ramon and go for no more. One to say, I'm saying for me, airbo, a young Mustafa, and Yamina Basu say, Omunya, someone, I will never come home. Let one hacker. Everywhere. Yes, say, Mr. Emma will be a campaign.
So you think, say, no, nama or man for
and I mean, say, yes, it's how in true, and ya dada, Damrama Sansam, ya Kato Ghana for trim. The 24-hour economy ba, and they buy and 25 Remaya. Galam say ba, Omaka say Galam Somba in first 100 days. They will resolve it. In fact, most of our senior campaign activists, no more campaigning, I say, na do dango Akufo-Addo kutatumi bia Ghana mra e dia hye ne se so obetimi o ka so be ende galamsey na obe ende galamsey na ba ye the first time ma do ye onya akukudro bane small scale mining for 2 years yewa mahama nya akukudro bane small scale mining for 2 years den had o bane for 2 years nobody after na nso no hwe ni ana edane and no any that commitment untimi yet because as Professor Adai said they have legalized galamsey through the establishment of Gold Board. Galamsey di yedede wo krom hanyina ko sesensuo ekọ eyiho nsuo ho koye ene ko na koye ene nsuo nye se we kwa de hu bi na atini o abna ene adane ateche entafa ko adane ateche ko omko sesensuo no mo de aba ene mu hwe ne ye ene de ene you penifo ne se Ghana will risk see be banne ye niema e free ha se ya e be kosi e kokoo ne niema no e de akọ ye ni hana abefo ni hwehwe mufo ombeka kire se empo ye nkontomre ni no ban ye di kwampo se ye ne no chemical se kokoo
no agric minister abeka se mema ye generalize no e wo mu se ye nka prone areas na galamsey e koso no ba ye ka se bi o ye no ba ye se ya in a way no then
the dent we are where say illegal mining e koso in 10 regions oh Ghana
10 regions
that is this in fact baby na office e bi ni no me ye ni free dia ni titi galamsey ni office northern part of Ghana kra na bi ni ho say wo ho pa na se want to say you mahama ankasa ni krom bole bamboy o mu tu galamsey say no den ono no krom so near agric minister come in nya adwen che say vast majority of our regions no it was a problem with galamsey bi meaning say 10 regions out of 16 baby ayen to be no Greater Accra and who say to galamsey bia Greater Accra and have been maybe to a large extent maybe voter region no muni oti no kwampo no udodo mu ye kwampa e bi hye wuro momutu
okay so they will see now what throw light
meba okay LGBTQ even when and Sam George omunyoma kwode da wo ho yen kan wa sem biem yen we express that commitment and normal pen so kra de amamu amienu kra timi baba timi ba be gu ye ne mu ase ba e be gina ye go ho fefe mo ho no ene LGBTQ di ye de sa no ba o mo so mo boso kra onye fruit wo di parliament pe ye timi de share order paper so na ye ram ha ma ha ya akwakọ ye free so Yeva Muhammad no share sofu no mo kan wansoma si oh ne mom no ye ma ye culture no ye ntre ne ye nkra ne ye na LGBTQ no o dane no o de fe no o kusa no de dom ye wo ho de pom ye wo ho 1 year nie enkane abo o kan nyina ya tum 29% kan ya ne nsuo 29% na no na nado banko Akufo-Addo fi aban mu adwuma ye fa katua otumu ohamu chichemu aduasa 30%. Oba ya first year wutu no 9%. 10 and also the 9.
There's more a year. I mean, say if it's within a year.
And no come say 30%. Me say another 30% the buy no. Do you know what President Obama said? President Obama can't say a bad. Also increasing on cost the come 40%.
Abai is what can't na me ba.
Cocoa prices.
No, abai say the okay increment asemi. Abai also we ni ho. Ti se ke ni wo no mo to akatu.
Enye no kure. Me say hwe enima bebre wa yen MPP you taking the bullet for no. I don't know survive economy. DDEP. Say ye pia ye ka na ye dia na o sie tua de kwa achiri. Say na be ye ntua na ye nhye economy ye no. It was one of the most harshest economic decisions I affecting the public, and we paid for it. Today they are benefiting. In fact, yeah, can.
Eniema na ye di nkomo. Eniema wa kan nyina.
Menya wie o.
Dia hi.
Menya wie me afọ na mo tu so.
Na wa bobo niema bebre so.
Bebre. And then what's the results? Abna me kan me asem me kan na ha me san say me wo fa asefo no.
But Mustafa Betanako can say,
and quite 200,000.
That time
they cannot progress.
And I said that also on Obetimi Akase, the way of mobile buy or more strict measures a buyer and unti. that time education minister ka wo a wo teacher ni a wo be ye enabler ama mofra no adwi apo omo be wie mu omo be say will be dealt with, and through that no na omo ye strict supervision ama mofra na
poor preparation by this government. Poor preparation.
And so do you confirm
poor motivation?
Not for
that be we were helping the kids to prepare for exams. In fact, say past questions. I'll be man cry e de sua de na enkwa na timi atene omo ho sua de ni ye motivated teachers. Any idea okay, do you know what you are doing? What you are doing is that you are rather discouraging the teachers. You are accusing the teachers say omo ma enkwa no ba because say be oba anya say we hwe teachers for nyina egu and we call for the abo. Omo no existed for 7 years, and this is the worst results in 7-8 years. This result worst results in 7-8 years. Yeah. And then Uber can't say results na worse in 7-8 years no. 87-8 years no results e ba nyina no. Na teacher for any omo da so honom headmasters omo honom no. No omo boa man kra no ehwiem. What kind of disgrace is this? Ka wo de twen krama wa hik kra no omo fa omo report mra. Look, wanya de and moving forward no what hwe there a lot and 200,000 cannot progress.
Omo Baba can say na see any koye mofra no omo nyina their foundation and also play pivotal role.
I'm not why president paying. Maybe one of my account. Why president paying? You see, Mama, he's been president before, and yet he's not new to these things. So sometimes when he says these things, Ayana submit to him. Why no. Ebra no ye president na ye yi ni free ho no okotena achie no wasua ne ma bebre pa ti sa ne ma ne bi no na ode ba
so hon tansa and as omo so bo ebo wo mo a don't you think say in a way you're not being fair because I'm afraid from year 1 year 2 na year 3 and say year 1 year 2 ni nyina no ma penso this preparation no start free ho so within 6 months abai ne be take over ma ba fana kwakotwa akotreza na say abai ne ba abemu no na within that 6 months abofra ne kotro enso hwe no na one perform well yet then na wo de ko hye abai awa ba
na wo da yes foundation ya ni started demolition fees rubber from that wo bi da demolition ya ko construction site in fact demolition kwa there it is the Kwampochen building so we say there f kra chen say we building
Jomu na be say mo
say there no because you build it at the free form foundation say we ya we ja e brebi na wo we na wa your pillars na wo ansa no wato aso demolition one day we be the web boom nyina.
And people are also of the view say more politicians and your education fraternity more politicizing
no politicizing for instance
results way
baby and I make say for 7 years nina results we are basasa. So that is why you need to ask yourself the hard questions. That we didn't want hear about were you motivating teachers enough? Oma woni ko ho wo hwe ni mabi mu ye then one ye then a koye instead of you to accuse the teacher say omo ye enablers no mo man kwa ni wiemu no and can be more responsible in your statements that there be we there yen hwe ni ade aba no ye nyina omamu ni nyina yesre position we yen kra ni nya dache akwa ofeli ye no oni MPP ni oni NDC ni o NDC for ni bi ma afeli pa MPP for ma afeli CPP ma afeli edi ni nya yen kra. But when you blame teachers and you are not being fair. Because someone no matter you're not being fair. Look, you a minister, seven you're not classroom question. So motivate the teachers, call them, have a stakeholder engagement with them, find out why. All the comments we're making, why come from report to be amayo. But you are making all of these things. The reason why I never see here. Now, Kasan, we see Eddie, I will forget. Are you being fair? You are not.
Okay. What can we name? But I know, say, one way or the other, baby, or one of my dear, won't say buying a bon home day.
Only baby and Nanka, me face a ban bon home day, Pananko, Bia, look, said what time could you can go in America? $1 no. But $1 no crano. Now, if you say, ya nhwe ya ho ramifications be worse
wa bone ho baba sa de ba
dabi woman gonta me kasa na nsiye na me yam sheme dabi sanke nya na nke ni jiba na nsiye na Bank of Ghana asmo me kan no me yam sheme say omo de $10 billion and now $1 nim enti ahomatia bi o abna na so mo
10 billion enya ahomatia
dabi de me count ma say what I'm saying is that enya sustainable
so yes, a possibility
so temporal. Exactly. So, and again, Oko banks unsa nya dollar ni bi. Visited 3 banks. Me say, madam for bia ono kwako fa nema na okọ take. E no frɛ me kwotena bank no. Bank ni frɛ abochi sa abochi na $1 ma no. Me ka bibia. Core businessmen and finance.
But now Bank of Ghana ni CID.
Bank of Ghana there. Me say Bank of Ghana there. Me say they are in cahoots with the banks. Bank of Ghana don't we have a talk again. In real terms, no, you won't even get some. Call businessmen and ask them. Say, omo per dollar kwa kodi dwa omunya. Na ebiem no busa say obie no mo awako banka. Yaka so on transibons ya frɛ abochi sa abochi famrada. A lot.
Omo from head office omo famra na sa.
Anya but omo fra abochi. We are near for so you do one
banks and omo ma wo omo fra abochi.
It's unfair say me body was say. I'm telling you say nkemebo nka with the permission from Madam for no nkemebo. It's all over. Abna where you sit. Unya information. Me so do up a crap and how the maminya 5 minutes. Na man ko phone calling in here. And be among senke adne so tino. Adenti no se tutu nyinam kaneam. Tio. Wo so what so ma ye ho be he han ye. But what tutu nyinam kaneam imprensa afi nkwa. What tutu nsuo mu imprensa afi nkwa. Anyama bo you are aware. Na say mo report about kwa me hwe omoko almost say dem abo entity ni mo bi abo bia so you can have an item be as you so say but generally in fact in so bo eno na no bi ka so koyi car the same car we you know 24,000 or 29,000 Ghana cedis or so small cars you know and only 39,000
above for momo nana above for momo nana
no also
how
that is why I make us say yes.
Minimum microphone so almost work
chinchim other staff nim into here the real effect of saying giving dollar no so fast no is being washed away. It in cabinet make us oh ya tete so yeah but enema ya tete so a ho mfiafia ho na obe benefit no hu say ampa this is the real benefit of dollar no. It's been eroded by all of these actions.
Electricity is a kadawa.
Because most of the problems in your face, you bullets in your MP.
But sometimes it is an American. You will take the bullet, all right, but any permanent. Say a temporal. With time.
So what I'm trying to say, the hard policies, the IMF issues, the things we needed to implement. Ebema Ghana for what chile omo, but you be there. Afibia twasono. Young legis have bullet no. His Excellency the former president, na not Danko Kufado, and legis have bullet no. And it won't also. And then ye benefit. Yeah, Ramamadu Baumia propose so good reserves and tie a city no echino. And this is for now, and they make a Bank of Ghana report. They have been making references to the policy initiated by the former vice president. Omoko forums Omoka all the time. I say, I know air back.
Okay. And to me, a BB common and the Obacasa performing well. And now $1, but the dollar there has been a but.
Yes, but the but is real. It's what is happening.
So you can't pinpoint an area Obacasa they are performing well until
what catch me?
Maybe so.
Yeah, I mean, can say maybe not come if you dollar.
You've been able to create.
But maybe $90 dollar no crampo no more no crampo no. First of all, you had the $10 billion and now sum. Number two, sanke swat dia and ngenya ho han bo ye nemum. And the TUC for they are up in arms. TUC they are very furious. Say who buy wo see ye no. Ye ntiase ma wo. It's where what we are kept you 9% pay. Ye dani ye chia. What the enyinemu nkane ani nsuo bo. 19% na abro ye. Okay, can you now boom from previous ones were increasing now? A couple by 29%. Now is a gains now what the amayeno. Everyone was aging outside because I become. Is this fair? It is not.
Okay. Ye free a honum na yembra a pandai. Because now I know near dear Eda Wunya Betina say Wakasa we a press conference. I was suspected that there's been a selective justice. A day nema wujina so Wakasa.
Unim and this for a dream be a dormitory. Na Ghana for no kwase maybe I'm from so Ghana for ye no. And they say a day absolute power at the ma NDC. And there are more overwhelming majority in parliament. So they can be reckless with anything. Me kamba. Yes, me blame me because say you did to me mawa. And they yamau ebiasa because of enema we nya making yawo. Enema we nya making.
Me bisa say we blame Ghana for the to me mam.
That is what I'm trying to say. Say obi be wini a ya onam ka so obi be wini a
na one day subampa dia nkyere Ghana for
abana be ka say subampa no e na Ghana for dey say na some kwan tro na mbodi e na na do be better with galamsey fight na do ampam obi a oba apam nkra 30,000 mo di LGBTQ shana na mo buy 1 year ni ye ka LGBTQ na mo fe mo dwane free ho and tro no be 24-hour economy we enuma na we he nkra no mo pe nyuma na ye nya bring nyuma no wada na mo pam nkofo nyuma wo he in fact when you ade me ya pa 1 year pa ndi no somebody should tell me something monumental ade bia ye see mo do pa ye wura mahama ye nothing no you me say something ade e bin see that no inflation nya single get pay o abene ye nya bidi pay
na ba say
na me can say free SHS na do dan kwa kufuado the first step ye nya
ye to niema mo say that
say say kwada bia west there be me see enema no am na wokodwum e to down oba ho e a sheda fa enema no bra na wa ye mankofo nya research before and after because you see
na me kodwum ntina me ka no because I make auto oil 1,200 and you know me turn 800 600 that has been a reduction.
But are you aware
there's a reduction in a way but if you say
that station Hana mo interview obi a oton so say first say pack of water na otono say 21 Ghana cedis and they that same pack of water otono 30 Ghana cedis aya na me hear no aya and it is also sometimes when obi cast has him now
to be bianco for
ohima asembe ene yeken because ene man ke benya so mfa so pa no ene dollar so no mo de mai pe no mo say increase in zoom and yes add 4 Ghana cedis say o he petrol ne dey tutu so ye ya yes 1 Ghana cedi on a liter good meaning say what 1 gallon bi abetua 4 Ghana cedis eti gallon bi obi atobia no 4 Ghana cedis NDC buy nkwa unu so mo de taxes nkwa makomako 8 raba
o man for ni bebeka say even say 4 cities krana ne bo no endu to say the first no na ye tono no so
first ne tono say
first ne tono 14 cities
na
crampo na say nei no
enti oba
me tono 12 cities and I say even 11 cities
na o tono 13 cities o tono 13 cities ne na say akwa mo so say betum mo say be mo so mo say cho so mo say betum 3%. What I am trying to say is that we be catch say o ba be yi ni ma bi afiri ho na ene petrol card dey also turn below 10 cedis na se wo ba na se wan yen sa na emumu no eniema a wo ho no no e na ye wo say ma ye ho chiri ye because frankly speaking me I've not seen anything amahama ye ade e monumental bia na dan kwa for the first 1 year September free SHS e bin see da everywhere obi ani age awofo ani age something monumental bibia e betumi aka say uma ye no because you see to me aye de ma wo no enye sa to me no ehwo adwuma na yeyi edina me ka be si panda de no so say wo hwe to me aye de mo ene o buy no their mindset is that let's control every aspect of governance and unse engofo be the petition akosi enyi OSP and president Mama who defend the OSP me wa
what reasons?
What compromising the entire? In fact, it is so illegal. It is and yes, a president Kwakasa, especially when you're the petitioner, bro. Say you pursue a remove it. Hey, you tell me now, Chief Justice Muakwa, where you want me in every Yadi OSP yaba ye no. Who see OSP no de o yantu abo asema no. Na mbe wo say nkofo expect say be a lot of prosecutions ye nyanye. Na yantu abo ase. And now say two OSP kokko afo. So OSP so no hwe na onye on speedy up nemo ni bi ni ade. Very very bad from a president. When you yourself you have received a petition for the OSP's removal, you have referred the petition to the Chief of Staff, Chief Justice. Chief Justice is supposed to look into it. Now on prima facie case B, now on obesity up committee. Now what you have done is that you are telling the Chief Justice say, I dare not look here fatu baby. That is what you have done. You have communicated to the Chief Justice. You see, what people
indirectly, and I say
indirectly, what people are refusing to know, they say, a young confer say, oh, one majority leader, majority chief of Nakasa Debi. But he's also speaking to those who are also going to handle the petition. That look, Mama Famosan cannot, or one break a crack. That is how dangerous his comments no. I compromise the entire process. I compromise the entire process. It's now to me say, and the Chief Justice, the only in the floor, embassy in the Koyan who at the cry, you see in the floor. Our whole Chief Justice, about penny more. The reasons why you in the free so. But OSPDA, San said now will be or quite investigation be or so who's so our airbuses and 70. You also want to repay him. It's in war Casamano. So, yentu your boss man kakra. The dear someone more.
In a way, not necessarily we see say ye quite cheap as the son near money ye. Do you think Senka Mabank come over Komochi as the say and OSP office no can establish? Oh, there be. But dear, for the office of the OSP, I'm okay. You're okay with it?
I'm okay because on the Attorney General, and just like what the President said, I agree. Attorney General appointments are directly from the President, and he's part of government. It's in pain baby nipa fi so ene adimba krampo na efa aban na ho nipa no nya agogodu yere emfanje. Into OSP ni de oye independent. In fact, the law establishing it is separate. Onwa on the prosecutorial powers. Onwa betimi akọ. Enti yenya obi saa na nkeye. Over the years.
Then the decision the president is taking, don't you say?
No, the right office direction. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It is the office, not the person.
No, but even a year or they said that you should scrap the office.
And one aspect. So there are two things. One is that say the office in everywhere.
Exactly.
So the first issue is that will be the petitioner because he is free.
As an individual. But I just said the whole country.
And the president said.
And a bill also drafted the question.
Exactly. That is what I'm saying.
So the president is talking to say yes, scrapping the office.
That is what I'm trying to say. Indirectly, the president is trying to say yema omobre. Who is the head? The head is Adekye Nsroma. Ono na nkofo accusing say ono kwanaso onkeka no ho onye prosecutions ni yenye hu results bia. In fact, he is the person. He is the center of attacks. Ono nkofo attack no. It's not really the office. It is a unya scrapping the pe akano. It is the president kase o omobre kakra. Some of the issues the president raised are the same issues I'm told say is captured in the petition. Petition Ngofofi say a waste of resources. And Ngofofi say oba akwa prosecution say then ye hu results be free ho. And Ngofofi say abuse of power be no ye in free ho. That same issues the president addressed it. President actually defended Kishe Jabe.
Sana wu no.
No sana tie. No, okay,
say premature.
Okay, say premature. Now, Chief Justice, I don't want to say premature. I don't want to say whether you be die more remiss Montumbas Nagana and the one can. But he said, Jabedia, or no, Cassa Airbus, who so in general, the NAU say be a old person also any more.
No counting, I want to say they are being selective when it comes to a justice.
Exactly. And you know, and there is our car. Yeah, Chief Justice a free ho. And who are better judges for Nibiso. And Omoma some judgment be out doing what I say. And they see then a whole judge I would do. Utimuko for Idi Amin the bar ruling. Utimuko for Animal Farm at the bar ruling. Utimuko Cassette, a woman's ran a cassette minuniano, ye pet before the law. But in practice, yes, and it be a was so chamberano. When the constitution is so clear that be a shambranasi. Judge is a because who be about Thomas. no premu na mu na ye yi na free ho dia ene se me de se be aprawa kase na mu no ya tete no ene aprawa keto de na se me de
voice out abeka say ehu atone so
why
me say none of them na about out abeka
no they don't have to come and say it you from omo judgment omo dem how can Ghana baby a yedri ye citadel of democracy in Africa, how can a judge here in Ghana be celebrating Idi Amin in his ruling? How can a judge say Idi Amin can't say I can guarantee you freedom freedom of speech, but I cannot guarantee you freedom after speech? Now what about ruling? We a judge or tamale na ni mo ko chocho yi obi aba court oba court no se me nsema me wo nyina no e 44 police stations na me ho asem ka omo ankasa witness side ne sha daka mu ebusa no se 44 na vote a e fa ho nyina ye say 500 honorable Martin Yindam e wini with 3,734 votes judge se me twani nyina mu ni wa emanuzu epefi PNDC law 284 excess ansana obetwa elections mu no huni say enema bi course wa ankoye okay enema na ankoso ankoye no etietia mra bi ana number 2 number 3 say etietia mra bi a enya nsunsanso boni bi wa bato no so a etimi sachira abato no ni etimi dane ani se bi a nipa o wini ye no enyo ne wini ye and I say affected the outcome of the results. This cannot affect the outcome of the results. Ebiem no wa say ignore regulation 48.2 of CI 127. It says abna ya to abawi a wo ye candidate wo agent so muni honom na say returning officer no or namra kwan so na say o declare it is a lawful declaration. Judge said there be say candidate ni hunti no enye declaration papa into atwam we wa regulation 48 can say because na emunim say obu honom hu say odi ntwope obehye da ho say no ma collation hokra na agent ma hokra na odi eno akwa case. That is why 2013 presidential petition I can say no agent rule honom it can just be a mere error. It is not something also allow money affect a results no. And in this case all the pin sheet omo for signing na ni nyina no ye tender ni nyina in court all the pin sheet NDC for signing na jaja utijum what such a bad rule. And you see the problem is that a recipe for disaster for the country because you see how the
ruling need to be a bad ruling,
bad, reckless, a poor because one follow president's crowd because time become 2013 presidential elections now MPP presented 11,000 pin sheets irregularities the judgment about and say it could merely be clerical errors, administrative errors, and all of that, and it cannot manifestly change the outcome of the results. You know, Yura Mahama and Edim Kunim Onko, and no, Anna Yura Nana go for a dasi and ye tokoso. Papaya's son, in fact, and there are a lot of Supreme Court decisions, Enus versus the Electoral Commission, very, very, very clear. In fact, there was a pointer. See a gazette, a year parliamentary results are 21 days. And now the filing. After 21 days, you cannot, no matter what, file. Your gazette, a year elections results on the 24th of January 2024. Omo file, omo you know. Now only 9 days out of the 21-day period. We raised this in court no overrule, and also that aspect in the Supreme Court. So court judge not only jurisdiction to sit on the matter. And you see, let's weaponize the judiciary to take some political decisions because that is the strategy. You Chief Justice in free because and is he Yura for Justice Paul Bafuboni. He is in a very tight corner. And that is where so person Ghana for Jini Dipana, it must be seen. We might go because of a very tight corner. Very, 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 very tight corner. He is one of the greatest beneficiaries of this government.
Because obey what
Yera Mahama Bayana or appointee in Hukeni as prisons director general. Penny power on the prisons. Yera Mahama Bayana appointee. The Tosum, you know, a year defense Yera Mahama Airborne Kise Jami. Yera Mami to community and Yinti President Mama Mubiamano and ye in a free home. Unse Limiana Tihano. All case of what say you electoral commission. You who need your media to electoral commission, I'll come there. Follow me here, Pao. And don't you know? Say who are ye Chief Justice everywhere Yama Openi Paul Bafuboni Abano. Paul Bafuboni which you mood time, ne will trim wakumum uyenipa. You will feel a certain level of gratitude for President Mahama. Say, hey, President Mahama na Sebi. Aduma ye kan nyina no onu ze maame tokuno issues e ba ya yedi ni free ho no that same issues before President Akufo-Addo ko yede ba December mu no obi the petition ko President Akufo-Addo wrote a letter back to them say wanya prima facie case bia the same issue na Yewura Mahama ba ya almost had ko to nanim in fact the same issues enti ba akokwa na Yewura Akufo-Addo ye free ho e na we di ono ba ya no so mu se ni mdi kan ti anye yi Kiseja Abende, or no said who soon Airbus Montino, or say Yewura Mahama in favor. It was say that is my view. That is my view. Because I said the buy, no OSP, Airbus, government official one.
What can see say you appreciate the office. I want to say
no, the establishment of the office, not the person assembly.
But if there is an investigation, office in there, and you don't know as an individual.
There will be issues. There will be issues with our Airbus issue. For me, the Yewura Kiseja did the shoddy work.
Okay.
He did the shoddy work. That's my view.
Okay.
And I declare Yewura Mahama from a year all the allegations are no one. And omudi play the year adverts play the adverts. And they buy or energy ma. And they been so what problem with him. And they bring the petition I could see Then the president, instead of him so be remaining quiet, the president now is protecting Kiseja Aben from the comments I was making. He's protecting him. Okay, so let's go back. It's ye Chief Justice free ho, and a Yewura Paul Bafuboni aba. Enti say Yewura Paul Bafuboni say nyame endi Ghana fo nyina ho afofie na wa amano adwen a emu odu ene akoma emu odu a ya hwe ya the executive ni beka bia no bedi so
executive
president and beka bia no bedi so ya hwe ya because na mdi kan no ye ni so no the family a benefit ba and they say we chief justice moa na who can nso na ye director general for prisons ni na two positions ni na no president Mahama na edema
nipa no say president appointee will be out here just nipa's message they would deserve it sub position way. I think that they've gone through, the process.
You see, if you bring this discussion,
Drew Honor, and see why don't we appreciate that?
Oh, unse tio Yewura Paul Bafuboni. Senka Yewura Mahama, and you don't quite know ye judge and all. Go bet me you before. It's no dear. You're quite, but one enya. And Jamaica say once on enya no. Any part dream no do who say menyam wa we free president do. Because the president can also have options. Say there be me fama me be ma obi foforo. But wo no the ma. To the ma won ntini say wo wan hwe yi a wo be hu wa dream say papa na ye omo bi. It wan hwe ye pe. Sa mo na na bia so be talk akoso no aye. So that is why I'm saying say ya hwe yi that is it. That is what has happened. Already parliament to crowd here. Sebi. Come here, say President Butum. Oh.
Nana.
At the contrary, because I say, is it there now a whole majority leader? At the bill, na the chief from so de belako na president issue official statement some withdraw we kwade nka asumsem because already majority leader no or a leader of government business about cabinet meetings friend about jubilee mama we dey jim
but say at the end no
so
more minority yeah because
no on person we man go tell me kasa unya kasa ye ho a compromise the petition before the chief justice as well because president a passive verdict that munya adwuma kakra ni enhwe
so when say nanka chief justice the end so no you could have done
exactly so what me yes am office of the special prosecutor say mun try na onye na adwuma kakra na chief justice dey about why han ya tutu mu am ya yine free ho
and the workers why so follow
e jana we dey won follow we dey workers ai e we dey ade nka 7 go anyi din o man pani na we dey work am asem it's a make us a the communication is not only to parliament but the communication is also speaking
to chief justice
to the petition before the chief justice that the chief justice look I'm fan to baby but we have to remember when because a your party for the whole we can be near no majority leader or back cabinet as leader of government business friend so what you have done now openly you are defending Kisia Japan. So how come you could not defend Mami Tokono? No kwade and no more you buy nobody knows.
But so you make such analysis Obibaka say former chief justice there no ono as an individual ne maybe obey and na hold on and uncle ye
I'm not catching number one
more a petition
I'm not catching number one
sika nine cases you so or nini kuno etu kwai these are some of the basic and nearby told you but
I don't president
hold on maybe but with the office of the special prosecutor there is the office and you see and scrap it no say no omu de omo eno nye individual de no e wo ho ba we de say honorable ayarega
let me tell you the difference the controversy around OSP nyina is because of Kisia Jabe in fact the controversy to even scrap the OSP nyina because of Kisia Jabe
but we
because about Nancy who say okochi enye ayi Martin Pebu de a na nkomo fa bibia nko okochi Martin Pebu
Martin Pebu so onye NDC ni
NDC ni
ayi Mustafa Baz so onye deputy general
secretary NDC ni na say onu aka o say I believe in president
na say papa kwa kanda say watoma former president Nana Dankwa Akufo
but anyway NDC
in a way I think say me we be okasa
ejuma oyema
NPP na fe we so
abna ejuma oyema NDC Mustafa Gbande kwa anya say ejuma oyema NDC Mustafa Gbande kwa anya
ade na won pese obetie media na make us so Obama former president afi so I think there was a video say or platform this because a Cadbury member of New Patriotic Party
that's Mustafa na mo gwa at point kwa beti be ko kasa on kwa so Obama MPP
Mustafa there
Monday before also be police also Atomo MPP so visa say na emfa ho na say on kofa no mo MPP o mo ba
and they say the Rama
if I back up yewura o mane bo amakwa free mu no utie nkomo ne bia na ekoso a no mo so MPP ni and they had to poach him from MPP to NDC. I know the any issue come me. My issue is that now currently as we speak he is working for the NDC and he has said that he believes in the reset agenda and he is part of the NDC. So that is established.
Into OSP attached.
It's OSP, yes. OSP didn't sakano no. After na ohu rainbow ni Rambo Star kra ohu ka. Aye na musu na ebri no. Wo de onko ayegwa no, wa na mu kwa ma de anje o. And they have weaponized the entire investigative institution say okokra na ye musu anu asem. Now them onim say ehize making order so them. E chense na ebu no kunfo. Oso esibi ye dikama no 800 million e si da under president mama kema mi kebe memo obi akokot ye nimu no waje ne passport or report it onwane ye man 800 million bill asa na sati so ba 600 asa na eno mo sade akọ 120 ni nya odem sa wo e chensen ye na kokot ko ye bo na kumfo mi nua hanan o de dika dem be 2-3 weeks bi and son and saying so almost come on another 120 million bill be and it was had them over 1 week. Why? They
can far a OSP the when I working and selective justice here na faster conversation we say in your number make Mustafa Etiano say ahoma bi amutwa ya anase motie ya nanka mo pese mo de so wo mo NDC for no ekon and now asomo akasa mokon o say office of the special prosecutor no mo create ya na say the agenda na say focus ni nyina na say mo de NDC for pana na ye mo target and now no
Debbie
abechechere
yewra Akufo-Addo and ka so ba in order to fight corruption obeye ne senia uko South Africa uko a lot of the Commonwealth countries now they have an independent body on the in charge of corruption apart from Abandi and Yadi. So it was a proposal so about Obeye and no establish here. So even President Mahama in Enra Krampuno I endorse the establishment of the office. Obian was says what about
but those officers are would cite example. They are
because
perfectly.
Yes, and I can say that is why the rationale is that when you have an attorney general and minister of justice, that person, no, president and appointing, right, under Article 88 of our constitution. But when you have a body established by an act of parliament, I am man independent, so in Juma. And only different. Eti no Canada sabi enya. But the most important thing here is that say yen nyina no abena yanka se mo ho. Se si e no omodo omani asa kwakosi electoral commission. So the electoral commission me no more problem.
Okay.
Problem am no more nya ne se. Enima ni bu ho mo na e mo kwan. Because what the catch say ya to abawi. Now the catch say wako court na court say kona ko declare kona ko colleti the 3 polling stations aka e wa Blekumanov they declare ene ochina ozunya police ene wo sa komra hye bedwom your official correspondence e free om honom signed by Mr. Tete I say they are never going to do any rerun rather no a collation of just 3 polling stations and then we declare then wako parliament is all kind of the same thing. Say I can't 3 polling stations but it be declare. NDC chairman koka say mu ye be yimu afiri ho ye betumu a ehu abom afa mo se enkwaya rerun in 19 polling stations. In 19 polling stations. Ama ojende ahokyere enema sebe enka ehu hia ba. Why can't you be firm? Why can't you be firm? Where Pandai any clerk of parliament and determine vacancy. The court. Any pande court and high court akase me declare the vacant. Monko twaba. Ni pande sa the court of appeal. Just like the Chikwes in the no. Cape Coast High Court they declare sitting vacant. Or the court of appeal. Ye court of in fact or the assembly from the Supreme Court. Ye court edi same ni nyina. Ewie. And sana ye court twaba e was send off. It's you see there Speaker I'm a ruling. Say, as I'm now about it, we should wait for all the legal processes, you know. Yeah, exhausted. After you could sorry ya na clerk natural letter on the 4th. And the kwakoma is say vacancy biaba a one me declare. Clerk na do you moment this for her.
Na clerk no why a man order so on.
No, that is why I make her say one speaker, medical speaker there. Say speaker, what am ruling? Hansard no ha. I'm sure you have seen some of the Hansard. Hansard wa while ruling say once the matter is before the court, young chairman court indeterminate assembly in we until say it be declared vacant to see in the club because don't forget say.
Judge question.
No, that be
send your ma up to serve a
no
execution. AC 1st December.
Yes.
And after no, that is where a court no and so
there be we and the any one kind winning ya. Okay, and the entire ruling now the by any what he's trying to say is say 7 days. Now 7 days we do that 7 days no. Now say the panel file appeal. That appeal no also act as a stay. It's young chairman appeal in the ruling. Okay, omako puli hands ni aba. means I can get it and then read it out to you. Oh, that aspect. So,
okay.
Is it then a society and abname huha to boss just kakre bi keke na or say the portion I who here and person be whiskey in our bread. They're just the portion that is needed.
Okay.
I see. Or say November, the statutory 7-day stay therefore remains in force until 1st December 2025. During this period, the ruling of the High Court cannot form the basis of the Speaker to instruct the clerk to Parliament to notify the Electoral Commission that the Pandai seat is vacant. In addition to the above, should Mr. Yindam exercise his right of appeal, such as an application under Rule 27(1)(b) of CI-19, it may impose a further suspension on the enforcement of the judgment until the application is determined by the appropriate court. The rule appears to prevent the subject matter of the appeal from being altered or prejudiced whilst the appeal process are pending. It one out now 27th November 2025. And the speaker said will by say nipano for stay for 7 days. After stay no so no within that period no say nipano appeal sa appeal na wakono yes survey all our processes parliament before the 1st of December. Yet speaker clandestinely enam kuntuna say akatre clerk sexual krata afako ebra mo chako nobody knew yehu ya on the following week na de na EDP then EC now EC say no should declare
but now no say 30th
but the fact of the matter is that it is only the court that can declare a seat vacant. It is not the EC, it is not the clerk.
It is a EC and so a dear base 30th Mokwakotuabano Mobekwana Monko.
Oh, yeah, court. Fortunately, court no a date on Mudia Benino, a way before the 30th. Nyamia Duma Tuesday be Yoko Supreme Court. Okay. That is why I make her say a young penny for go Supreme Court. They should apply the law. Obie no o katom so munye bibi different o ade no animu da ho he dokuna eto ahye hu za ben ade animu da ho hu ne clear say na tie who said there is a clear manipulation from a certain quarters say yen you see state institutions Mr. Judiciary omuye Ghana for nya last hope. If they allow themselves to be manipulated by the executive, Ghana is doomed. Say omanye firm if mom who kwan because ade a boye nya no omahye from cabinet and omodeba
but say omon enya nti
eno tina me sre me nam UTV afidikase isu ekọ ba bia say me sre the judges said they should not allow this travesty of justice to fester. So mo allow pay dangerous. And I say, you said no so GDA crowd porton judiciary media Ghana say. And it's an America say, when him say, you rubber for Bonnie, he's in a very, very tight corner. But Ghana for also, when him say, and on chief justice. Very, very, very tight corner. It's an America say, one way you pay, one way ya or the akumabi. Ebeye se obi na aye ni favor bi enene on e penny pa o hwe eye atentene so ntie bia ya hwe ya na nipa no e kan se bia na ono so ye mesre I do not want to believe say sad no betimi aba but o hwe ade we ya chechire executive no ya chechire ene ebi hu yi say ye say anso ya the petition akọ say easy ene nkofo ye nyum free ho to mo so hu aba beto mo so hu aba beto mo so. That is my problem with them. My problem is that they must be firm. And say Mustafa Betran here or no the work council to dia. So you think
you think say they are not famous only or say money or money
we are not part of anything. We are not part of. How can we be part of this?
Say easy check.
Omuye bibia omuye institution omuye nipa nye bibia no mbinya no. 13.
problem.
And I'm okay. That is why I've stated it. They should have been fair. So when you go before Parliament to defend your position, that there will be no rerun in Ablikumanov. Then just when I say don't get Tabaka some munye good for munye papa biana mama out living mo usefulness near the didn't smoke and near you move through no one bomb 19 days. You should have been fair. You have gone before Parliament. In fact, and indeed, no more sound the authority of court. High Court and Asha will say, go, collate, declare. High Court and Asha. No more free home all of a sudden I hear such a U-turn. I created such an unfortunate situation. All because of this. Now, as I said, it being see that. It's a because of the one of the I buy it through first. Yes, or stay all the processes. So why this indecent haste?
The way a minority more conduct in Parliament, omunim say enyane kwan so because eba MPP on say oh ye dey agimre dey pesi edi emra so mbese mu di emra so na say minority chief whip eka say yan solve pandai issue then government business will suffer knowing very well say and also ye omanfo so na ebe benefit ye say government business then adinti na say mu put up such behavior
mame emfa akunya so na membo minority no abaso pa led by Osahene Alexander Afelomaken. Omayade papa. And we are celebrating them. Look, if Oma such a rule in Amakayama we now I was hanam koti kwan so esa koyade fofra. Are you being fair? Are you being honest? And Amakan so in the hands that captain in the hands that that speaker.
It's one that said that is the best way among some bit me exhibiting money and
exactly. Because now mentality geometry. You mutrim grass and minority gray in Yamo. Etra make us say to me to do I their share NDC for them and they are abusing it. To me to do their show myself. And you almost show me goodwill no a better now forever. Look, the goodwill Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo enjoyed in his first year. And you been you. Nanado first year. The VSHS by. And you goodwill no crampo there. And they say 1 year cramudi year is when I. It's what to say, who? 1 year, people are disappointed. Your own youth. They are complaining, say, why is there 24-hour economy? Your own youth. And I'll go for beers, I saw for soon, Galam say, TUC for soon, I didn't know some of the prices, electricity, no say about beers. I feel you with the 8 taxes in Kwanaba. 8, Marco 8, and Amodiaba. So, the fact is that, say, you almost say, oh, President, me unko for ni go NDC MPs and an independent vote so coming home to me doors in the parliament there. E se me bottom ni America no be senkenya sa. Anka President kwano sebe and can trimu nya ne de. E ma no ntro krata from the executive when we know say Parliament is not under any control or direction. Parliament is independent. Anka President will not even authorize the communications director the right to Parliament in Kovo me you say more draw at the end.
No, they say I come one guy what say you appreciate the office.
Oh no. They make up stone I come answer. Oh yes sir. You say. We could have done that in a very good way because omo your call for no issue why you couldn't have called them. We are there to crack us.
So say we nyasem say cannot. Because be a yet one man on cast or married drawer a DNC enti there is no major. There is no major issue. I be your parliament. Muhammad in cabinet. There is no major issue. Oh yeah. Because now we are, a creative problems me, The first problem is that now Obia will say executive day and he say wunya such interference in the work of Parliament. Obia fi say what krata o de buy interfere in the work of Parliament. Or that say omonye and I mpo krasa wo sra mo krampo na ho hia ka from na ye. That is what your letter aye. Secondly, your comment plus your letter it is also indirectly communicating to the Chief Justice. And that's what I say indirectly.
Yeah,
it's
not direct.
Now, no, what they petition, Nama, I didn't know my say, Attorney General.
Chief Justice.
On.
Two Chief Justice. Oh, I feel no more than Nako. Near the two Chief Justice. Sir, we a clear. While I be catches will receive petitions and so no, a mummy and son or so, a year OSP home, and a moo and soon or so far electoral commission will refer to Chief Justice. So why then do you comment on the exact issues that is now so and conforming president special prosecutor and everyone the same exact issues no and one and no more come some parliament after what rock at the across umunya no moye no e bi mo asa do one aka say ye mo break akra no munyo modwuma ye mo bre no one ahead enye kisejabin mu so nipa mbeso mu say tuno is a free so what you have done is that you have already compromised
into when you na count na modin komo amoka say yes, our act we a threat on our democracy, and I say there is more
massive threat. A dangerous where it is going. Here, it means though. Martin Kubu, ono ya chi no keke kwa no. Nature kwa chia. Ama na no kwa fumfum. Rambo kwa no se Rambo. Wo enkwa ya di AK47. Achim kwa ya kwa chi wo adwuso. Obobo to wo wiemu saa na mo de check am de ne baaye. Achimkwa da remand close to a month. Would you kwa yamfo antum and so hope. What's what bush for kwa na wunya access to them. Omo hwe kwa no mu hu. Ye de ye awodie. Una mawusu. Yesi kwa na kofa edan a wa wudi da so bra. O kam. Say hefa na ene ya hwe ya bedu time bi de se nka kum nipa de a ene wan hwe anka bail condition ene nka mba ya na nkoma botu. Ene na okasa asemu yi. Martin Kwebu o NDC ni o na de ye wo de e kwa wonsunum abrantie adentakumi de pa na abrantie ye asem o kan ne se onye video bi a video no eye judiciary omo di asemi chief judge asemi o makoba bi akwa di lunch anopetututu ye de tuo mo katakata omanim on ne yire ne mada ho na ase wo ne nchen eji na freedom
sa no be kan na say na o
bo video no. Oh, the video no. Our church and the bosses be a ne ba no kura nsu kura na wote. Ono de ne bodwe. Ya chinkofo akwa. Ya momo uti bill condition bi a de momo kwa odwe ho a wonti ase. 60 million, 50 million, 800 million, 150 million. A bit that so demu, e bi si die look. Na ayi said nam tamaklo. Ono yebua no kumfo awie o 70 million ya fa ne sa se o yebua
no fo nye
kumfo sorry yebua no fo awie se ombra no bedam ode ho akawura yenya no ndc for crime person bebo hunwa na se na meti so so o master process bi pressure bomb so no kan sa asem yenya no ndi MPP apreso why na ya chi ne say you suspecting crime bisa ye de such onerous such repressive bail condition by never look at what they are introducing into our culture.